Hey everybody, and welcome back to Cody's Horror Channel. I am your host as always, Cody. So just like all of you, I am incredibly excited that the new Evil Dead Burn comes out. I'm going to be going to see it this weekend and I cannot wait. But like a lot of people have done, I did the same thing. Throughout this whole week, I went back and revisited all of the Evil Dead movies. Big shout out to HBO Max for actually putting them all on their streaming service this week. So that way we could all catch up and refresh ourselves before the big movie comes out. So you're the real MVP there, HBO Max. I know a lot of streaming services always tend to do that, but they have you pay for it. So shout out HBO Max. Good job. So without further ado, I will go through my rankings of the movies before I go see Evil Dead Burn, and then I'll let you know what I think of the movie itself in another video. So in doing my list, I do know a lot of other people who have done these lists. They tend to go 1 to 5. Never understood that. I'm definitely a 5 to 1 type of guy. I like to start with the worst and go to the first. Save the best for last type of thing. So we'll start off in the number 5 spot for me, and that is Evil Dead 2. I just couldn't get into this movie. The whole part where Ash goes into his mental breakdown because he has a deadite inside of him, and the whole beginning part with a new actress playing Linda, and then he never references his friends. And I understand they're trying to make it more comical. This one just didn't do it for me. I didn't get into it. I don't mind the new Ash. He's way different than he was in the Evil Dead. I don't mind his goofy, humorous self, but this one just didn't do it for me. I just wasn't able to get behind this one. I think my favorite part was when Linda comes out of the grave and is dancing around. That was actually pretty funny, but other than that, this one to me was the hardest one out of the movies to actually get into and watch. All right, so coming in my rankings as number 4 is The Evil Dead, so the original movie. I enjoyed this movie. Don't get me wrong, the practical effects are amazing, especially for their time. Towards the end when he's fighting off the Deadites and he burns the Necronomicon and they all start to kind of disintegrate and deteriorate, that is awesome. The way they did that is amazing for the time period, and it is just a really good movie. I enjoyed it. Compared to Evil Dead 2, I like this one, and all the other ones above it I also enjoyed. Just the rewatchability to me for the Evil Dead just isn't there as much as it is with the next 3 on my list. Still a good movie, still a fun watch. I understand low budget, all that kind of stuff, so there isn't so much they can do with it. But I just don't think, I've seen it now twice. I'm not sure if it's one thing I'd ever really just be like, hey, I want to pop this in and enjoy a movie. So that's kind of why I have it a little bit lower on my list. So coming in at the number 3 spot is one that I actually thought I would put in the 4 spot originally. But after rewatching it and after kind of thinking of it, I really enjoyed Army of Darkness. I do know it does have a lot of the humor and stuff like Evil Dead 2, but I feel like this humor hits a lot more. I think with Ash being out and about in a bigger world scheme, with him having to travel to find the 3 different Necronomicons and then having to fight the Deadite army, and I enjoyed the little glass breaking and all the little ashes running around. I just think the goofiness and the humor and just that style that they were going for, that they started in Evil Dead 2, I feel like it actually picked up a lot more in Army of Darkness and it was a lot better. So this one to me just had a lot more rewatchability. Because honestly, to me, this one you could really just watch kind of as a standalone movie, because they kind of explain what happened at the end of 2, even though the end of 2, he's getting praised for coming from the sky, and then the start of Army of Darkness, he's becoming a slave, which that kind of confused me. Those two didn't really line up like they should. But either way, the whole medieval theme I thought was really, really cool. The introduction of S-Mart and all that kind of stuff in Army of Darkness I thought was really cool. So I gave Army of Darkness my 3rd ranking on this list. So now we are just down to 2 of the movies. I will admit I've never watched the TV show. I've never seen Ash versus Evil Dead, so none of those seasons are going to be on this list. Those are definitely on my to watch though. Coming in at number 2 though is Evil Dead. I liked Evil Dead. I thought it was really good. So from my understanding, it's kind of interesting. It's incredibly similar to The Evil Dead, and it's depicted as a reimagination of Evil Dead, or The Evil Dead, but it's supposed to not be the same. It's a different cabin in a different place. They summon a different demon. They have to go through the process differently, even though it's in the woods. It's kind of confusing. I get it, but I don't. But it as a standalone movie is really good. I like the turn they went with these new movies. Obviously, I like the gore, the violence, just everything about it being creepy, the way the Deadites looked. I understand they were going for a specific look in the original Evil Dead trilogy and all of that with the Deadites and the Deadite eyes, but I like the new creepy version way better. I'm a big fan of the gore and violence when it comes to horror movies, so Evil Dead delivered that tenfold, and it was really, really good. The Necronomicon looked really cool. The whole raining blood and the abomination coming out of the ground was cool. I do have a bone to pick though with the abomination. I don't think it looked creepy enough. It literally just looked like Mia just burn you when you touch you and she's not wearing clothes. Like, it's called an abomination. I feel like it should have been some cool, creepy looking thing, and it just kind of under delivered. So that kind of knocked it down out of my one spot, but very, very good, enjoyable movie, and I think it was a great addition to the Evil Dead franchise. So that leaves my number one spot, and as everybody already knows, there's only one movie left, so coming in at number one for me is Evil Dead Rise. I remember going and seeing this in the theaters, and I absolutely loved this movie. This was amazing. The special effects, the acting, the ambiance, the music, everything about this just worked together so well, and the Deadites were amazing. I mean, even down to the building itself had a good, creepy, eerie vibe, and the background about the bank teller who will steal your money and scare you to death, and then they find this vault underneath the apartment building. Just everything about this one I thought was amazing. The Necronomicon looked sweet when it had the teeth that closed up on the book before you had to open it. I liked the playing of the records and all of it. Everything about this one to me was really, really good. But I do think what stands alone to me for this one compared to, I guess, necessarily the Evil Dead, like we talked about in the last one, is the final creature in this one, the Martyr. It was wicked cool looking. It was creepy and eerie and just completely nightmare fueled, unlike the Abomination was in the last one. The Martyr is something that we need. If there was something like that in Evil Dead, I feel like that one may have challenged this one a little more. It just didn't give that cool vibe at the end of the movie like Evil Dead Rise did. So this one to me is standalone the best I've seen so far. Who knows, maybe Burn will take that spot over, but it's going to be pretty hard because I am a huge, huge Evil Dead Rise stan. Everything about it. Beth killed it in there. All the stuff in the garage, the whole giant blood coming out of the elevator, just everything about this was all me and all everything I love in horror movies. So super excited to see Evil Dead Burn. Like I said, I'm going to be seeing it this weekend. I'll pop on, do a short video as well to kind of give you a little rundown of what I thought of that movie. So wish me luck, and I've heard good things about it. So I'm definitely excited to see, and I'm hoping it lives up to my expectations.